I'm Johnny Prouty.
And I'm Crone.
And this is Hoofbeat News.
Today is Monday, October 4th, 2021, and today we're bringing you the first Hoofbeat video of the year.
This school year has started with a lot of exciting changes, but one trend, however, has led to a rough start at FMHS and across the country. I have the story. The TikTok trend, Devious has affected our school in a number of different ways. Property has been stolen or damaged, boys' bathrooms have been closed, and this affects students, staff, custodians, administrators, and other people in our Fort Morgan High School community. How has this TikTok trend affected our community?
The TikTok sensation that's been kind of going around with destruction of public restrooms really affected the school in a lot of different ways, but probably the biggest one is just the bathrooms having to be closed down. Parts are really hard to replace, and it takes a long time for them to come in right now. So with some of the bathrooms where the things were destroyed or pipes were damaged, these aren't just parts you can go to a local hardware store and buy. We actually have to order these parts from large companies, and they're just as a backlog with construction parts and plumbing parts. So we have to close bathrooms off for extended long periods of time because the parts are not in and we have to wait. So their turnaround time is 5 to 6 weeks with some of these parts. So that's why the bathrooms have been closed, is because we have to replace the parts.
So the Devious has affected our school community in many ways. First and foremost, for those kids who are doing what they need to do, it has to be very disappointing and very annoying. Our teachers are affected when we have to shut down bathrooms and students are tardy because of it. The morale of staff, I think it's been hard on them. We've actually had stuff stolen from teachers right off their desks, so they've had to lock things down. But the biggest thing, I think, is our custodians. They are very busy with the new construction and everything that's gone along with that, and then they've had to stop during their day and they've had to clean up messes that have taken place in the bathroom. They're the ones who are fixing these things, so I feel like it's affected them the most. As far as us administrators, it's a lot of time and energy, and I just think it's very disappointing. And I'm very glad that we didn't have to shut down homecoming. There was some talk of whether or not we move forward with that. So it's affected our community and our school community in many ways. The other piece of this is we can't just open bathrooms right back up. The parts to order are all back ordered. And so soap dispensers were at least 4 weeks out of getting new ones. And so it has affected us in so many ways.
So kind of some of the different troubles you could get into would be suspension from school. Destruction of school property is something we take very serious. You know, this is something that is funded through our taxpayers and everyone in the community that pays for the upgrades in these buildings. And some of the new bathrooms that we've put in, upgrades have been $30,000+ is for one bathroom. And so those improvements are taken very serious if there are damage done to them. So we would look at suspension out of school, and then also the criminal charges that we would come along with those with destruction of school property, and so having to repay for the damage that has been done.
And I think it's important to let kids know that when we have caught people destructing our school, that they've actually been charged with destruction of public property, and we're taking it very serious.
Ultimately, this is the students' building, and we want to take pride in this building. We put a lot of work into this. We do a lot of things to try to make it as nice as possible. So ultimately, we want to encourage people to do the right thing. And if this is something that people want to continue doing, it's not okay. And we hope that the majority of the students take pride in this place and they encourage it to stop. And if you see something that is going wrong, or people are doing things that are mishandling things, please let someone know. Myself, Ms. Holsworth, Ms. Nickel, or Mr. Schoen, or a teacher, please let them be made aware of the problem, and we will do everything we can to fix it, because this is ultimately a school that's going to be around for the next 20, 30 years, and we take great pride in it. We want to make it the best. You as a student see that people aren't using the things properly and causing damage, please speak up, because that's the right thing to do. Thank you.
Thanks for that story, Johnny. As we get into the new school year, there's a lot that seniors have on their minds. We had Uriah take a look at that today.
Being like the last year, it's kind of a lot to like comprehend, but partially I'm like ready to go and I'm like also not ready to go, so it's kind of a lot to like think about. I would say some of my biggest accomplishments are like class president and being part of the class officer team for all 4 years, and also like being like nominated for homecoming court and a bunch of academic scholarships that I've been offered because of the way that I've set up myself for these, like this moment. Some of the things I'm gonna miss are like the environment and like the teachers and having that like relationship with the teachers, and then also like friends and stuff. And then something I won't miss is I don't know, I don't feel like the smell of the sugar beet factory, I guess. I wish we didn't miss half of sophomore year and most of junior year, but I also like wish that I was more social my freshman year and like got to know other people. I would say get involved, make friends with other people, and like make relationships with teachers and like be friends with them, because they're there to help you, and the administration too. They don't want you to get in trouble, they're there to help you.
It's kind of sad. I don't really care. Okay, those of us who like actually have some sort of care in the world.
You just don't care?
No, I just don't care. Well, I mean, it'll be sad to see people like, for the last time. But then, yeah, I don't really care.
No, it's sad that it's my last year in high school, but it's not sad because like now I can go and do what I want to do.
I guess making it through the years. That's all I gotta say.
Probably balancing, especially junior year now, is balancing between high school and college.
And work.
And work, I guess.
Mr. Ditter and Miss Farley.
Well, those are people working in this one. I'm gonna miss track.
Oh yeah, track.
I'm not really gonna miss anything else much more.
Yeah.
I'm not just taking different classes. Some of them bored me to death.
Yeah. Some of them are irrelevant. Pay attention. Get your stuff done.
Don't listen to her. She
Don't.
doesn't even do her own stuff.
What about you?
I'd say it sucks like freshman year, but get your harder credits done ahead of time.
Yeah.
So like now when you're a junior or a senior, it's just kind of like chilling with the easy classes.
Thanks, Uriah.
Finally, I took a look at Fort Morgan's local steakhouse, The Flame. So I just wanted to ask you a couple questions about where you work and how you enjoy it. So I'm going to start off with, how long have you been at The Flame?
I've been working at The Flame for almost 2 years now. We're coming up on that mark, so it's been a pretty good job.
That's good. What's your favorite part about working there?
Definitely just the fact that we're allowed to get employee meals. So at the end of every night before we go home, we're required to have a 30-minute break, and we are allowed to get whatever kind of food for free from the back and have the cooks cook it up.
My favorite part would have to be getting the cheesecake. And my coworkers. I love my coworkers.
What position do you work in, and what are some of your responsibilities?
So I myself am a grill master at The Flame, which is a very fancy word that just means I cook steaks and I cut them on the saw. So.
Okay, and what position do you work in?
Expediting.
So what are some of your responsibilities there?
I basically run around and I help the waitresses get things that they need, and yeah.
So from that position, what are some valuable skills that you've learned working there?
Well, for starters, I now know how to cook a very good steak, if I do say so myself, and I've kind of learned a skill that's kind of dying in the industry so far, which is just cutting meat in-house. That's a trade that's not very common amongst other steakhouses, so I think that's a bit of a skill that makes the Flame stand out in that way.
Also, I know from personal experience that the Flame tends to be a good job for high school students and that a lot of students often work on tight schedules. So could you maybe give me some insight on how the Flame keeps a healthy balance between work and school and stuff like that?
Yeah, they make it flexible for us, so we just tell them, hey, we need this day off for, I don't know, like homecoming. You can take it off for schoolwork or for like other events.
Speaking of events like homecoming and stuff, what are some of the events that you think would be good for the Flame to host or to go to for maybe dinner or something like that?
The Flame would be perfect for like prom and homecoming, you know, things like that where you'd want to go to like a fancy restaurant and it'd have nice music and it's kind of darker in there, and so it has like a good ambiance for those kinds of things.
Thanks, Brock.
That's all we have this week, FMHS. If you have any wonderful story ideas for us, please let us know with any of these handles here down below.
From all of us at Hoofbeat News, have a great week, FMHS.